which you typically don't see.
Family-related issue
today. I'm asking that she be removed from the home today. We've got to try to get these 4 showings in, and I'm not trying to add more fuel.
The showings are already scheduled. They're already scheduled. I've been in communication with the realtor.
I just asked Mr. Cox, ma'am. Silence.
Uh-oh.
I'm going to mute you.
Very interesting case that I have for you guys here today, so let's get active. But first, here's the background. Man and woman get divorced. There was a court order within the divorce judgment to sell the house, the marital property. Husband leaves said house, wife does not. She refuses to leave even after multiple court orders. She refuses to cooperate. Lying about her custody of the children is the reason why. Lying and trying to escape accountability for what has been documented. Within these stories, oftentimes you see a lot of leniency towards the woman, but in this case, the judge pops off. Without further ado,
Ms. Donaldson's objection to the ex parte order, I'm assuming it was the 1/4/24 ex parte order, grants exclusive use of the marital home to the defendant, grants him attorney's fees, and that the plaintiff basically is not permitted to be in the home without written permission from Mr. Donaldson. I've read your motion. What do you wish to add briefly to it?
Are you asking?
Yeah, it's
myself?
your motion. Yeah, it's your motion.
Oh,
are you still in the house?
I am currently in the home, me and the children. Yes, sir.
Pay attention.
Even though the orders have told you to get out.
Well, that says if I do not have permission and I have permission to be in the home, I've spoken with Mr. Donaldson. Mr. Donaldson knows that I'm there. He has
written permission. Mr. Cox, does she have permission to be in the home?
She does not, Your Honor.
That's his lawyer.
All right. Ms. Donaldson?
Yes, sir.
He says you don't have permission to be in there.
So get out.
Your Honor, I actually do have permission.
Wow.
We have email communications back and forth. Mr. Donaldson knows that I'm in the home. We've been in communication with the realtor for the last couple of weeks. She also knows that I'm in the home. There has not been any expressed concerns about me being there. He did say that he was going to write something to allow me to be there. He has not provided that, but he has also not expressed at all any concerns. He comes back and forth to the home to bring the kids, and that's just how we have been.
Notice her den of lies. She previously said that she was in the house due to having custody of the kids, and then she just admits that the ex-husband is in and out the house with the kids. So which is it? Who has custody, ma'am? Then she continues to ramble on, talking about that the realtor knows. And we're going to find out in a little bit that the realtor wants her out because it is way more difficult to sell a home that you're still residing in.
Just how we have been, we have been living in, and living in the home.
What's your motion here
for him every day.
You're trying to set aside. You're trying to set aside this ex parte order that gives him exclusive use of the home.
Correct. He does not live in the home. He has his own separate home. He has moved out. And there's no reason to have that exclusive use. He filed a second ex parte without fulfilling the first one at all. He was in the home 60 days during the first ex parte, and he did nothing. So really, when you look at it, he had no grounds or a need to file the second one when he already had full access to the home and full authority to move about at his discretion.
It's crazy that she's talking about authority when she just completely disrespects authority. Who gives a shit? Yes, he has a second home, but as of the divorce agreement, he also has access to the marital home. You know, the one that you're not supposed to be in.
So there has been no further disputes between us. He's left a home, and we've been both taking care of the kids, and he brings his son to me in the mornings because he doesn't have means to get them back and forth to school. That's the way that our kids get back and forth to school.
I agree.
It's their foundational home as well. So it's just not in the best interest of the children.
Okay.
Nor
put it on the children.
Nor has it been a problem with me being there. And again, we have written communication back and forth that Mr. Donaldson does know that I am in the home. We do have emails to support that, sir.
Knows you're there. That doesn't mean he gave you permission, but I'll ask Mr. Cox. Mr. Cox, your response.
Your Honor, thank you. Your Honor, we've tried everything. We've tried ex parte orders. We've gone through.
I've had a hearing.
Certainly, you've had a hearing. The plaintiff has destroyed the garage door twice. She punches holes in the walls.
She's violent.
This realtor I have is a very good people manager, and she's tried everything. We just can't get anything. I've got an email from her today, very alarmed, saying that she's concerned that she's not able to sell this home, as it is nearly impossible to have showings. I have 4 showings set for Friday. Mrs. Donaldson said that she has left for a trip out of town and failed to put the key in the lockbox. Your Honor, it just goes on and on and on. I don't want to dig that, but the point is that she just will not allow us to get this house sold, either by destroying it or making it impossible to work with the realtor. The realtor just needs to be able to get this house sold, and we only can do that by having this ex parte order upheld. She has to be removed from the home. We've tried everything to try to get her out of the home.
She
filed these motions about how she was somehow wronged in the judgment of divorce. Just to kind of demonstrate how irrational this, Your Honor, we entered into an order before the judgment was entered that said, all right, so your 401k, Mr. Donaldson, is worth $103,000. But you, Mr. Donaldson, only have 14 days to tell us in writing what your premarital portion was. And he said it was somewhere between $30,000 or $35,000.
All that 401k stuff supposedly held up the actual entry of the judgment. I don't care about that. It doesn't matter who did it. It only matters that I have in front of me a judgment of divorce that I am going to enforce the 4 corners of that, nothing outside of it, okay? And that judgment of divorce was entered on August 25 of 2023, stating specifically that the house shall be listed for sale immediately. There's no other way to put it other than it says immediately. We are now in February, and it still isn't. I know that there have been ex parte orders. I know I had a hearing on it and said it's got to be done. It was objected to my order. The judge has found on more than one occasion that the house will be turned over to Mr. Donaldson because it can't seem to get sold in any other way. I know there are attorney's fees that are now due that are part of a lien on the house, that you're supposed to take her portion of the house, or her portion of the equity for some reason. I understand. Isn't that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ma'am, I don't know what else to do.
Call the cops.
You're just not abiding by a court order. I mean, I think I should have the police go out and remove you.
Hello.
And a court officer should set all your stuff out on the front lawn.
Well, I don't know what that would do for our children that I take back and forth to school that he does not have means to do. Well, he should care about the welfare of his children.
I understand, he should, but I'm enforcing the order. The order. There's nothing.
Your Honor,
it doesn't.
Like you said, it's been February. It's 4 months past. He was in the house for 60 days and with an ex parte order in place the first time and did nothing. The house did not get on the market until January 30th, 2024. Those are not because of delays of myself.
It's because you wouldn't get out of the house like you were ordered to.
No one ordered me out of the home, Your Honor.
You've been ordered.
We've been communicating with the realtor. No, sir. No,
yes,
sir. Mr. Donaldson has emailed me, and we have email documentation that Mr. Donaldson is fully aware and okay with me being in the home. He has worked with me, and we have worked together to say certain things about the home. But he knows and fully aware that I'm there in the home. We communicate about the children, so he has had no issue with me being in that home.
We are meeting here today to discuss the issue with you being in the home, and you're legitimately, through your illogical, irrational bullshit, looking at the judge, looking at the lawyer, looking at your ex-husband and saying, we talk about that there's no issue that we're in the home. This is absolutely fundamentally ridiculous. At least she has the decency not to conduct this meeting within the home. At least she's that smart.
These concerns are more so coming from
out of the home.
He told me I would be allowed 30 days once the home is sold. The home has not been sold. It just got put on the market less than 2 weeks ago, Your Honor. And it's been over 4 months that they've had to do that with full authority to do it. That has not been on my delay because the court granted them full authority that they have failed to exercise in.
It took us a lot longer because we had to get a bunch of ex parte orders in order to get the realtor to get anything done. And it's
that's not true.
Your
You
Honor.
had your order from September 26th. and he did not move out until December 1st.
What are you seeking today? Because, ma'am, this is the same thing that's been litigated that I started back in, I think it was.
Because it should have never been able to been filed in the first place, and it also should have never been granted because they had no grounds or no means.
Sorry, but I granted it, then the judge upheld it, the judge did something else to uphold it, and again, and I'm upholding it again.
Right.
It's a court order. You just don't seem to agree that the court order should be issued because you don't think it should. I'm enforcing a judgment that you signed. You signed it. You agreed to it. At that time, on August 24, you agreed to it. And you agreed to the fact that the house would be immediately listed for sale, and it didn't, all right? And
that's not just on me. That's on the defendant as well.
There is nothing that I can get done, according to Mr. Cox. The realtor is saying, I can't even do 4 showings today? Is that what you're saying?
That's not true. Your Honor, they're having excuses after excuses when they've had multiple.
No, you've had excuses after excuses why you do not follow the court order.
Pop off, Judge.
They did not enforce the court order. They did not. Mr. Donaldson did not tell me.
Then that's what we should do. I should order the police to go out and remove you, because then they will follow the court order. Okay, they want you removed from the home, and if that's what you're asking for, just.
No, that's not why. I would not want to put my children in that position. I would not ask for that. And I don't think Mr. Donaldson would be asking to put his children in that position.
He's running out of
He has children. So even whatever his personal things are, it's not in the best interest of the children.
It's like arguing with a brick wall. Now, I'm sure a lot of people are looking at this and they're saying to themselves, well, look, it seems like a judge is finally standing up for a man within family court. But my argument is that if these genders were switched, and if this was a man down here with all of these damn excuses, blaming, accountability, bump whether or not the kids are in the house or not, do you really think that the man would be getting as much leniency from the judge, or months ago, they would have ordered the police to go in there and kick him out? So while I appreciate the overall patience of the judge, I think that it's too much patience when considering the totality of the conversation. I mean, the judge is allowing her to cut him off in a conversation, which you typically don't see.
Family-related issue.
I'm asking that she be removed from the home today. We've got to try to get these 4 showings in, and I'm not trying to add more fuel.
The showings are already scheduled. They're already scheduled. I've been in communication with the realtor.
I just asked Mr. Cox, ma'am. Silence. I'm going to mute you. Mr. Cox.
Your Honor, one of my obligations under the judgment is the child has a disability that provides him with a trust that provides income to the child of $3,600 a month. I haven't even been able to deal with that with the probate judge, as Judge Hillary ordered me to. And she is simply collecting the child's money every month, not working, and obstructing the sale of this house. Your Honor, we're at a desperate need here.
What does that have to do with this order while we're here today? First, you're bringing up
and you're bringing up everything under the sun, and that is inappropriate.
Related
it has
to
nothing to do with it. It is enforcing a court order. Enforcing a court order, and you're supposed to be out of there. And that is a
court order. Also enforced him to do things that he has not done either.
Wow.
That the court has just put a blind eye to. He's supposed to pay the portion of my car. He has not done that.
And that isn't what we're here for. Stop.
It's a court order.
Just mute her. Mr. Cox.
Sound like Kevin Samuels.
I muted her because...
Mute. You just got to mute mouths like this at some point, Mr. Judge. You'll learn that soon or later. RIP to the GOAT, KS.
This is just going nowhere, and it's hit my office and Judge Hillary's office over and over. We've done everything to try and be reasonable, and she just won't do it. Now, I don't know that Mr. Donaldson wants her put out in the street today. I don't know. I'm assuming you're asking for costs for this motion now too.
We are, and it's horrible to say that. I mean, he doesn't want her put on the street, but he knows that we just have no choice. We can't get this house sold. She's going to stop everything that we try to get it sold.
Can you check with your realtor and see today if she can at least get 4 showings in today? Does she have the ability to do that?
We don't have a key to the house to get in the house.
There's no key to the house because Mrs. Donaldson won't give it to her. She said she went on a trip and can't give her the key today, so the 4 showings wouldn't happen.
So I'm gonna skip a little bit forward within the content. The judge begins to ask the husband a bunch of questions. I think it's kind of boring. The only thing noteworthy in the exchange is that you can see the wife on mute in the background continuing to argue. And I guess I'll show you guys a little bit of that.
If there's any hope that we believe she could demonstrate a single shred of cooperation with the realtor, but she can't. It's impossible.
I know, but right now I'm saying He is entitled to it, but he let her stay there.
When we come back in, she's off mute.
Ma'am, you're muted. I can't hear you. I'll unmute you in a minute, but you cannot stop talking when I'm talking or anything, even when I'm doing that.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, ma'am.
I have already been in communication with the realtor. I am not just out of town. I have a sick father, much like the defendant, and I'm out of town. I'm in Cincinnati, and I'm here visiting him. He may not have much longer to be here, so I'm just here seeing him, and and Mr. Donaldson knows that. But I've already spoken and communicated with the realtor in reference to that. The showings that were scheduled for today have already been rescheduled and confirmed for Monday. We've already talked about that and talked through that with the realtor. She is aware of that, and I am also aware. And I did apologize for my error on this one time that did for this particular time. I have offered also to repair the home on more than one occasion. That information is there. I haven't been the one to I've been the one trying to get the home repaired, because we can make a lot more money than what's being offered on the home currently. And so I've been trying to work with both Mr. Donaldson and the realtor to at least allow those negotiations to be made, because those are one of the main concerns that a few sellers have. The house is currently on the market. They do have all the photos that were needed that came in. They came into the home. We got it on the market. We just had an open house Sunday, February 1st. So I have been in cooperation. There were 22 people that came through the home, and there were communications after the home. So there has been steps that has been taken that I have cooperated with. They've gotten in the home. I've made sure to keep the home in decent condition and to make sure that it was presentable for the guests.
Her mission right here is just to continue to talk herself into believing her own bullshit. There's literally a letter from the realtor that's saying she's making my job difficult, but she just ignores that and blows through all of that shit based off of her need to be right.
And I am hopeful that Mr. Donaldson will allow for us, I say us because it's me and his children that he would be putting out on the street, not just myself, because this affects the whole family. And I pray that he does give us permission to stay in our home, because it is still our home. I handled all of our affairs for the first 13 years of our relationship, all of our business affairs and personal. And so Mr. Donaldson, he's not a big negotiator. And so he expresses to me that most of what is being done with the home is being told to him what he's doing. He's not really saying it. He's never really been that person to take the lead in that. That has always been me. So I have been trying to be at the table to negotiate the best rates for both him and I, and also give options for these people that are going to buy it, because we can make more money. We can make up to $50,000 more money that
get out the house
said that we could make. And I'm trying to be able to do that. So we can both put more money in our pockets for ourselves and our children.
Oh, now it's benefiting both of you.
The house must immediately be sold. And it must be, it doesn't say anything in the judgment about repairs or anything. It must immediately be sold.
Yeah,
if you are going to talk to Mr. Donaldson about something, you're not being prohibited from talking to him or something, but you are prohibited from interfering with the immediate sale of the house. Okay, you can't hold it up because I want to repair the living room.
It wouldn't hold anything up. It wouldn't hold it up.
Yes, it would. You got to fix it. So don't give me that.
The same thing that we've done when
we're talking over.
Damn.
Yeah, same. Go ahead.
Well, thank you.
Honorable.
I'm just telling you that it will hold it up. I know what it does to fix a house. It holds it up. You got to do the.
Wait a minute. I'm sorry. Look at my man said, no, I just lost 3 strands of hair just now.
I'm telling you that it will hold it up. Damn.
Look at God. God, she reminds me of my ex-wife as well. Oh, this is why I got divorced to begin with, so I don't have to deal with this goddamn mouth. If the judge feels like this, seeing her once every couple of months for these new orders, imagine how the husband would feel from the 15-ish years that their relationship maintained. Something that she touched on earlier is that this guy doesn't have good negotiating skills. And then also in representation of his lawyer, he hasn't said, you know, much of anything. So I get that this guy's probably like more introverted. He doesn't like to speak a lot. He's like one of those quiet people within, you know, one of your associates. I got a quiet friend. I understand his demeanor. But the negative part, the consequence of this demeanor is that if you do not pick the right one, you will allow their battle axe of a mouth to control you and determine the next best steps for you, the family, the relationship. You will not be the leader. And my guess is that he got tired of not being the leader. Let's proceed. Look at Judge.
Yeah, same. But
Look
go
at-
ahead.
Look at
Thank you.
He's disheveled.
I'm telling you that it will hold it up. I know what it does to fix a house. It holds it up. You got to do the.
It's minor. I already had someone come in and give estimates, but okay.
Look at it.
Right.
Jesus. That's going to be the order of the court. She will fully cooperate. Obviously, if she doesn't cooperate with the Monday showings, you can come back and get an immediate order to have her removed. All right. I know you've got them before, but with whatever, because she said she's got it all set for Monday and everything is set up. Okay. And that's her own words to me right here. And if she violates that, I'll use that against her too.
Boom.
Unless you agree, she's to be out next Friday. I will reserve costs for Mr. Cox. You can, you'll be able to bill for your time, the amounts and stuff like that. I'll reserve them for right now for this hearing, only because unless stuff goes the way it doesn't seem to be going, there'll be more. And I will grant costs to you at that time, Mr. Cox. That's going to be the order. If Mr. Donaldson and Miss Donaldson want to cooperate and give more time or do whatever, that's fine. But you're here telling me, Mr. Cox, that he wants this done now, doesn't want to make repairs, basically, just wants it done, just sold. Just sold. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor, we're just trying
I
to
understand.
allow our realtor to do her job, and Mrs. Donaldson is not allowed to do it thus far. So
And if the realtor comes in, ma'am, and says you're putting anything in her way, I'll have the police come and remove you. I'm tired. I'm done. So that'll be the order of the court. Anything?
thank you.
All right. Thank you.
Have a good
You'll
weekend.
draft the order, Mr. Cox.
And that's where this particular conversation ends. This woman is an absolute nightmare. So pig-headed and so stubborn that she's going to end up losing her portion of the house that will be sold to her attorney fees. The ridiculous thing about stories like these is that you could tell she rides within this victimhood narrative or mentality. So she'll throw a show or whatever date that she's scheduled to leave in front of the kids, right? Like, oh, he's kicking me out the house and blame it on the husband. Meanwhile, the kids are getting into the mind like, damn, why would daddy kick her out the house? Meanwhile, the truth of the situation is she's been squatting for months, making it super difficult for the realtors to get in and out of it or even sell the house to begin with. And at the end of the day, it's just really disgusting. But then I pose the question off to you guys. If this was a man in the exact same position, do you think that the court would give him as much leniency? This woman is literally utilizing the children to stop the sale of a home. And for what? Does she have a problem or issue in accepting that the relationship is over? Final thoughts. I'm also beginning to understand the power, the impact of having a lawyer, a paid attorney to represent you. He didn't have to say much within this conversation. And whatever the attorney is charging is worth it, as long as he don't have to deal with his bully ex-wife anymore. Another thing I learned that, like, listen, guys, if you have a pensive or a passive personality, either learn to get rid of that, or when you are trying to pick or select a correct woman, you do not pick a bully. You do not pick a woman who is overbearing. You do not pick a woman that doesn't care how much that you convey yourself within a conversation. She will forever order you around and you will be her lap dog. Until next time, you two. Peace!
You don't wanna see me get vexed. Bars on your phone, tell a man you can't jet. The big the ones who can't stretch. Breaking the neck when we in the car next. You don't wanna see me get vexed. Bars on your phone, tell a man you can't jet. The big the ones who can't stretch. Breaking the neck when we in the car next. Dead bars, need defibrillation ASAP. Get boxed with a straight gap. I'm reminded of mind state they lack. Every time that they incline, we go way back. All they wanna be is just